Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Red Flags Only podcast, where we dive into things that you thought you understood, but may have missed some signs on the way. Okay, how y'all doing, guys? Let me start by saying that I believe that LeBron James is probably a very swell guy. I don't know him personally, but I've watched him very closely over the last 2 decades, and to be honest, I know a ton of niggas like him. This ain't no hater shit, but I need to break something to y'all. LeBron James is a fraud. He might be a great guy, a good father, a wonderful husband, and a great friend, but this nigga fake as hell. And before you get all bent out of shape about what I'm about to say, try to truly understand the point I'm attempting to convey. LeBron James doesn't exist. He's league property. And let me be clear, we've never met LeBron James, the person. What you have been presented is an unattainable, carefully crafted image of a nigga that doesn't exist in any multiverse. He is a product of the machine that created him, guys. He's been built up by the very system that will eventually destroy him. The NBA is never kind to the stars that stuck around beyond their usefulness. 27-point-a-game scorers go to journeyman role players overnight. You can average a triple-double, win MVPs, and be universally loved by your teammates and fans alike. But when you served your purpose, you will be replaced or discarded, unless you're complicit with the scheme. In this life, you either die the hero or stick around long enough to become the villain. You can't win, but it's your choice. The window or the stairs. Your ass gotta go either way. The real mystery though is how will he choose to go? Y'all believe this is about sports, but it's not. This is about a whole lot more. This is about corporatism, capitalism, and pacifying the masses of knuckle draggers that still tune in. These people will tell you anything and you believe it wholesale without doing any fact checks. Now we gotta understand that no matter how they try to spin it, you really gotta ask yourself a few simple questions. Let's start here. How many billionaires exist that don't produce a tangible product? How many billionaires exist in this world, on this planet, that don't produce a tangible product? Elon makes cars, Bezos moves weight, shit, even Kanye sells shoes. These guys manufacture and distribute a tangible good. They have factories and workers and employees. You know what I mean? The next question though is, ask yourself this: how many billionaires have a boss or a job where they got to clock in or answer to somebody? Can you show me where their offspring work? And finally, the last question is, how many billionaires have zero political capital? Most billionaires had the ability to lobby politicians and impose their will on the political landscape. This particular billionaire was wearing a t-shirt with snappy slogans on it and helping the league draw catchy phrases on the court during the pandemic and the George Floyd situations, when he actually could have been putting that real billionaire capital to work, since he loved black people so much. Alright, I'm a chill on questioning whether he fucked with the people for real, because for all I know, he could be a totally different nigga behind closed doors. But anybody with eyes can see through the fake shit. Nah, I'm gonna just stick to the facts though. Just based on what we can see with our own eyes and shit we can actually find empirical evidence for. But at this point, it's obvious that the LeBron James that they present to you on television is a fraud and an imposter. This dude been given leverage through an established platform like the NBA to push narratives that gives the illusion that black folks have power, make decisions, and are making progress. But based off what these people showing you now, he either gonna shut up and play ball the way they like, or they're going to make an example of him. They always do. People like to point out that LeBron James has gotten his son a job playing basketball for white people's entertainment, just like him. Them people made $50 million off his son's jersey sales and gave his son $7 million. And the government getting half of that. And he got to be an ideal employee to make sure he collected all. We talking about the billionaire, the son of a billionaire and the son of a billionaire. Man, if I could throw up the biggest fucking air quotes I could right now. Just let that cook for a minute. A powerful billionaire with the ability to do anything he wants. Let y'all tell it. Was only able to get his kid an entry-level job in a business that he helped to build and expand globally. During his tenure, the league makes more money than they ever have in a 20-year period. And they went global, expanding the market, and the best he could do was get his son the equivalent of the janitor's job or a job in the mailroom. Again, what billionaire puts their offspring in any position to be mistreated, embarrassed, or taken advantage of? Ain't that the point of having money? I mean, Kanye said that, right? What's the point of really being rich for? Now, it doesn't solve all the problems, but money solves the ones that require money. And 90% of life's problems can be solved with money. Now imagine you getting up and breaking your back to touch that rim for 25 years, and after all that, put your offspring in a position to have to do the exact same thing with no evidence or indications that they'll ever reach near the level you did or make anywhere near as much money. I've never seen a billionaire kid be put through humiliation rituals in front of crowds of millions of people. And to be honest, I ain't never seen a billionaire be put through as many rituals as LeBron. I mean, let's keep it a buck. We've seen some of the most peculiar shit ever happen on a basketball court happen to this man. You saw a 6'9", 275-pound Goliath get cooked by a 5'5" Puerto Rican in the finals. You seen him start cramping up in a close game, even though he spends upwards of $1 million on his body and fitness every year. It was 15, 30 other dudes out there that night, and the one nigga that spent the most money and had the best body, is in the most shape, was breaking down in front of everybody. The nigga was visibly shook when the Spurs put Kawhi back in the game that time. And anytime this nigga got a book in his hand, it's on the first page, and it may as well be upside down. This nigga talked shit about China, had to walk that shit back promptly when Nike got a hold of that ass. When the players wanted to go home and be with their families during the pandemic, he forced everybody to stay because he needed that bubble chip. Them Patrick Beverley's words, not mine. Now, I mean, I could name a whole slew of shit that this dude kind of swung and missed on, but let's stay on point. The major issue here is that LeBron James is a fraud, and the legions of millions in the media, print and social, parrot an incorrect and honestly damaging narrative that this man has the power to do things that could change the world for the better. Now, if he had the opportunity, or if he had the power or the opportunity to seize the power, he would have did it already. I mean, this is what happens when you allow yourself to place responsibility for your salvation outside of yourself. He has neither the power nor the illusion of it. He has been allowed to do what he's been allowed to do because it has been lucrative for the true power structure, period. And now that they've squeezed all the juice out them lemons, it's time to move on. And then people finna make this nigga they finna make this nigga train his replacement. Every record you set or have broken will be eclipsed by your replacement. He is already on pace. He's actually ahead of the pace. And because of his complexion, he gonna be treated better than you ever have been. Because he ain't a nigga. And the minute they sense that you ain't being cooperative, or you going off script, or you starting to pout, that's when you gonna get some shit like steroid evidence coming out. This shit been alluded to for many years, but has been buried for reasons, allegedly. Victor Conti, Kale Sonnen, all that shit coming out. Balco, allegedly. But I can tell you Savannah James did get interrogated by the FBI last year. That's not allegedly. And Randy Mims, his best friend, got cooked for gambling last year, but somehow or another got off light. But all that shit coming back to the forefront if this nigga don't shut up and play ball. I mean, honestly, and that Randy Mims shit is really interesting to me, because them people caught him with a package, and then he got booked for gambling. So yeah, y'all know how this go. Normally when them people come get you, they normally come get you for a reason, and if you can get away from them people coming to get you, then you need to get away from the person that them people got, because that nigga snitching. But that's neat. We'll come back to that. There have been some wild stories attributed to our brother LeBron over the years. Ask Mike Brown why he got fired in Cleveland, and hint, it's the same reason he got fired in Sacramento, trying to hold star players accountable. There are accounts, literally accounts, and this is in Sports Illustrated from probably like 2008, 07, something like that, and it's accounts of people just not being able to speak directly to LeBron, even though he's standing 3 feet away. It's like literally he'll be like, tell Randy what you want to tell me. Like, he'll tell Randy then Randy will say, like, LeBron says, tell Randy what you want to tell me. and you know, he'll do some shit, like he'll think about whether or not he want to answer, but he ain't gonna talk to you. Randy gonna talk to you, but the nigga could be standing right there. Shit got out of hand in Cleveland, and but Cleveland kind of started that shit. And I'm be honest though, he lost some points with me when I saw him smoking that blunt at the baseball game, and when he realized the camera was on him, the nigga tried to hand the blunt off to his wife so he didn't get caught. And to me, that shit, that was a character check moment for me and shit. I'm like, damn, nigga, you would throw your wife under the bus to maintain an image? That's some diabolical work, straight nasty. Because, I mean, shit, I got the blunt now. You know what I'm saying? I got the blunt. I'm on camera. You see me with this motherfucker. Me handing it to my wife ain't gonna stop shit. It's not gonna make, we caught now, but I ain't gonna put her in this situation. But what you did was you did what I thought you was gonna do, and it's been evident that you've been doing this same thing the whole time. You are a corporate shield, my brother. You gonna do whatever you need to do to get the money and keep the money rolling, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't got no problem with that. But see, you can't be out here acting one way and being another way, and when the other shit come out, you know, you try to flip it and change it to something else. It like I say, it's really diabolical, nasty work. But it's stuff like that. We done seen it. It's been speculated on in the past, but imagine the behind closed doors shit we ain't never seen before. As far as we know, the thing we care about the most, the thing that, you know, we honor him for the most, the crowning achievement has always been the way he is with his family. Our trauma as a people runs so deep that we could overlook a lot of shortcomings when a dude create the image of having a perfect relationship with his wife and his family. A lot of us miss that shit as kids, and that's truly his crowning achievement. But if this nigga don't play ball the way they want him to, watch how quickly that image is eroded. Side bitches gonna come out to work. You probably gonna have some Diddy party stories thrown in for good measure. They may even attack the kids cause ain't shit off limits for these people. They don't play fair. Yeah, our good buddy LeBron kind of got some shit to think about. And to be honest, I don't believe that he got the most thoughtful and experienced people around him. He seemed to be stuck in an echo chamber of dudes his age or younger that have neither the experience nor the broad perspective that comes with the secondhand experience of elders. I mean, like, have you ever asked yourself, who is this nigga's OG? Who is his big homie? I mean, okay, if this nigga 40 and his big homie 36, and neither of them has a father figure or strong male role model in their life, I can almost predict this shit finna be a disaster for them niggas without having even ever met them guys. Be honest. I'm damn near 50 years old, and I got a plethora of OG niggas and big dogs from age 65 to 90 years old that can not only kind of provide me with some wise counsel, but I respect them enough for me to listen to them and kind of help me save myself from some shit that they saw coming years ago, or some shit they went through years ago. Man, LeBron got all the money, and it really just seemed that nobody around him loved him enough to kind of share the hard truth with him. They really love what he's done for them. And even that story seems more and more fishy to me every time it's told. So okay, let's run this back. You mean to tell me that a dude who had very little family and few friends outside of basketball just so happened to meet 5 guys after he went pro, who he then sent to school and came back to run the entire empire with no white intervention, no white hands in the pot? Just a bunch of mediocre, non-student, hood, street niggas that LeBron knew from around the way. Alright, niggas. You telling me that the white small hat power structure that runs the sports entertainment business let an uneducated nigga that was selling throwback jerseys out the trunk of his car take over the league lead in sports agency? You believe that this nigga wasn't allowed to reach that position? Them folks that have had a monopoly on this game for so long and have managed to keep that generational wealth to themselves for all these years just let a uneducated, ugly midget nigga that was selling jerseys out of his trunk. And I can't overstate that shit enough. The fact that this nigga was selling jerseys out his trunk and somehow got close enough to the nigga next to the nigga to parlay that into being the most powerful sports agent in the league. You really believe that story? Now, a couple years back, they threw that college requirement out there to attempt to throw you niggas off the trail when folks initially started to ask these questions, the ones I'm asking right now. They had the power structure had to make it seem like they wasn't fucking with the nigga. They needed to make it seem as if they were plotting against the nigga that they actually planted. Now, if you believe any of the narratives that have been pushed upon you about LeBron James and his crew, do not feel sad. Many folks fell for this shit. We have to understand that this ain't a new strategy for these folks. They always find a nigga they can purchase, compromise, or discredit when they done with them. And when they find the nigga that they can't purchase, compromise, discredit, or defame, they'll delete that nigga without blinking. And don't act all surprised like you ain't never seen it happen before. And there's the conundrum when it comes to LeBron. You want to root for him. You want to like him. But he can't seem to stop doing lame shit that make real niggas look at him a little bit strange. The flopping, the lying, the sweaty dance with Draymond, Diddy parties ain't no joke, and a few other, questionable moves kind of make me wonder out loud, who is this nigga's big homie? I mean, when I'm wilding out, I know a couple of old heads that'll get me right real quick. And I appreciate them for that. I also don't provide for their livelihood, though. So them telling me some shit I may not want to hear won't fuck up their lifestyle. So it's probably much easier, much less pressure than somebody who, if they tell me the truth, may have to look for another job in the morning. At this point, though, I don't even believe that his wife can even penetrate the echo chamber. I actually think she's a part of it, to be honest. But, I mean, just think about it from this standpoint. I'll just take an outside perspective. Can you imagine a wife that has spent the last 25 years following her husband around the country, moving her children on a whim, spending pretty much the bulk of her youth making sure the house and the kids are straight, even though she just spent a little money? I know her husband has made some generational wealth, but how much is enough? I mean, for real. If I'm a spouse and I'm a wife and I seen my husband sacrifice his body for the last 20 plus years, and how much pain, money, and lost time we done had to endure, why would I allow him to steer our son, who's obviously not ready and also coming off a fucking heart attack, into that same profession when we don't have to? What kind of parents do that? I mean, most, to be honest, and they say this shit like, well, this is his dream. This is what he's always wanted to do. And man, I had a dream to be a pimp. I wanted to be a stripper. You know what I'm saying? It was a time where I had some real wild ass dreams as a shorty. But I believe most parents have a responsibility to save their kids from themselves. I am not a stripper. I'm none of those things because my parents saved me from myself. Now, none of us would have blamed LeBron if he retired or even took an extended leave of absence to be with his son while he recovered. That would have been dope shit, and that would have been logical parent shit, right? But the total opposite actually happened. Pops rushed him back in order for him to take part in the pomp and ceremony rituals that surround his job. It truly looks like this is all about his ego. I mean, let's be honest. This is a man who willingly refers to himself as King James. He obviously ain't got no OGs, because they would have encouraged him to use Rick James before they let him pop off as King James. Them white folks created him, and this carefully crafted image, and they have manicured and meticulously shaped the narrative around your aspirations. So many niggas without a dad need a role model. So many chicks without a man need an inspiration. So many broken families need a template. He ain't married to a white girl. He's in his kids' lives. His woman is beautiful. You name it, they gave it to you. All the ingredients, and you ate that shit up. But when you really think about it, Nike used LeBron to push sneaker prices high into the stratosphere. LeBron sneakers were the first ones to routinely hit retail $200 to $250 on release. Those his shoes were the first to do that, not Michael Jordan. Jordan's was topping out at $150, $175, $180. LeBron's come in at $200 to $250 every release, and don't sell nowhere near as many, but we could come back to that too. The NBA used LeBron to globalize the game, effectively narrowing the window of opportunity for homegrown black players, pricing the average fan out the game, and effectively removing the sport from broadcast to cable television. Less people get to see the games. He's overseen the league during this period where everybody is friendly and more brand conscious as opposed to being competitive. And as he prepares to lead the sport, the game is almost unrecognizable as compared to the eras when other superstars transition to life after it. Nah, if we got to give him credit for the imaginary things in his head and the longevity stats that the NBA has promoted, we also have to be able to attribute some of the negatives that he brought or developed while he ruled the league. And now I know you thinking to yourself, he don't control the league, he don't make those type of decisions, and that's the thing here. We can't give him all the credit and none of the blame. Y'all call him and his agents the most powerful man in sports. Why can't we attribute the many? Okay, so we can attribute many great things to him, but not the current state of things, even though he's been here for all of it. Again, you either die a hero or you stick around long enough to become the villain, and bro has definitely overstayed his welcome. But see, there's a catch to that, right? He's overstaying his welcome for a couple of reasons. See, if Kevin Durant stays healthy and plays consistently for a few more years, he'll break LeBron's scoring record before we could have a chance to even miss LeBron. And then there's the little issue of Luka Doncic, who, if he keeps playing consistently and plays long enough, will surpass damn near all of LeBron's records by a very large margin. Simply put, the homie's sticking around the stat pad because if he doesn't, the records will fall pretty quickly after he retires, relegating him to an afterthought in the pantheon of league greats. It would decimate the GOAT conversation. We all know who the GOAT is. We ain't got to talk about it. Yeah, man, we might like LeBron, but we've honestly never actually seen the real LeBron James before. Shit, at this point, I'm not even sure that he knows who he truly is. But I don't think all is lost for our brother. We just got to see how uncomfortable he can stand to be. To get out this jam would require his brother to do something he has never done in his entire adult life. And that's go against the corporate power structure that created and fed him. And that shit sound crazy, right? Who does that? This shit sounds like a truly daunting task. But it really ain't. It simply requires you to use the broad platform that you have, over 50 million followers on social media, to actually speak truth to power and shame the corporate devils you work for. With that decision possibly comes a loss of financial freedom, loss of attention and the spotlight, loss of access, and just a whole bunch of loss. But for everything you lose, you'll gain back a part of your soul. You know, the part you lost when you backed Nike when they went after Stephon Marbury for revealing that them shoes was all made at the same factory. Or maybe the part you lost when you went after Kyrie Irving during his small hat fiasco. Or maybe the part you lost when you backed the establishment during the pandemic. Or maybe the part you lost when you backed China during their terrorist campaign against the Uyghurs. Because shoe money, right? Maybe even the part you lost when you were reading the autobiography of Malcolm X upside down on page 1. Some of this shit is funny. All of it is true, though. And at some point, we all got to be realistic about the situation and call it what it is. LeBron James is the biggest fraud we've ever witnessed in sports. and especially in the context that I'm speaking of. He is the Jordan may have been the first manicured superstar for the league, but Jordan was more like the beta test. LeBron is the full realization of what they initiated with Jordan. And eventually the universe might grant him the opportunity to reclaim some of that lost soul. But what I know about money is when given a choice, you'll always choose the money. That's my 2 cents. Peace.